Gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, what just happened? Me, the old humble guy. Welcome to the show. Something a little bit different tonight. I'm going through streaming through OBS just to see what might happen as far as the interface goes and how my computer will react to it. For those of you who don't know, I'm the old humble guy. I own the Old Humble Distilling Company. We make fine whiskeys, vodka, gin, and now rum. And you can find us online at oldhumbledistilling.com. I believe there's an overlay for that. Let's see here. Where's the overlay? Is that it? Nope, that's not the oldhumble.com overlay. Oldhumble.com slash let's hear Battle for Sydney. No. What on earth are all these old? That'll be fine. Don't make me call your mom. That's funny. I'm fucking hilarious. Anyway, you can find us online, oldhumbledistilling.com. I will drop the link in the banner. And if I'm not mistaken, well, there's sunflowers. Uncle Larry, sunflowers. Okay, and here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set a goal tonight. I'm setting the goal. I'll set the goal in just a few minutes. I'm going to set the goal tonight of, well, where's the bottle of rum? Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I got to get a bottle of rum. We're going to give away a bottle of rum tonight if we hit our goal of $30. But I need to have the media. I'll be right back. 30 seconds. Did I make it back in time? I did not make it back in time. All right. If we hit our goal of $30, I'm giving away a bottle of our newly released Moonshine Hill rum. And that leads to the topic of tonight's show, which is the secret history of rum. And I'm also going to touch on the history of Moonshine Hill here in Humble. So y'all can know what the hell it is that I'm talking about when I talk about Moonshine Hill. Do I show the comments? That's a chat overlay. I used to have the paid version of StreamYard, and I'm debating whether or not I want to come back to it. I'm not convinced yet that I want to do it. Let's see here. Super chat. We're going to set the goal for, let's see here. There's got to be a way to set a goal for super chats where it's just a dollar amount. So we'll do 10 super chats of, 15 super chats of $3 or $2 or higher. And we'll give it a timer of 2 hours because I'll probably be hanging out for 2 hours. I'll give away. Come on. Do hear this. Oh, wow. If you could see how slowly my computer's typing over here. Wow. A bottle of Moonshine Hill rum. Exclamation points. And when it's done typing that out, we'll set it up official like. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, let's get on with it. With no further ado, usually at this point of the show, I would be doing something along the lines of our 12 states or 50 states of whiskey. We would be up to Arkansas right now. I'm going to pour myself a drink. If you don't mind, I am drinking tonight our Double Oak Rye from the Old Humble Distilling Company, made by yours truly. There it is. Double shot of rye, double shot of double oak. Cheers to you fine folks, because life is too short for factory whiskey. Drink good stuff. Cheers. All right. a bottle of Moon. All right. So that is going official. The goal is set. 15 super chats of $2 or more. We hit the total dollar amount of $30. I'll give away this bottle of rum. Well, not this bottle. I'll give away a fresh new bottle of rum. These bottles of rum are dropping tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday. Tomorrow for our VIPs. Send me some vodka. Hello, Uncle Larry. Uncle Larry. Cheers. But yeah, this is actually freshly made. We made a fresh batch of rum today, and we will be bottling up some of it tomorrow. But that is a brand new rum being released this weekend. Our Moonshine Hill rum, named for the Moonshine Hill area of Humble, Texas. And of course, rum, named for rum because it's rum. So I don't have my show notes in front of me. I have no show notes in front of me at all. Let me tell you how the giveaway will work. When we hit $30, I will list all of the names who participated in the show on a name of wheel of doom and glory. If you contribute super chats to the show, your name will go on the wheel as many times as dollars you contributed to the show. So if you contribute $3, you get your name on the wheel 3 times. Contribute $10, you get your name on the wheel 10 times. So these retail at this bottle retails at $15, and shipping is like $5 or $10. I don't remember exactly the number, but it would be $20 if you bought it off me directly. So if you contribute $5 to the show through super chats, your name goes onto the wheel 5 times, plus the one time plus your one time for contributing in chat and all that other stuff. So that's how the giveaway works. If we hit $30, if we don't hit $30, we're not going to spin the wheel of doom and glory. Now it's the wheel of doom and glory, which means I spin it twice, once for doom and once for glory. The first spin being for doom, your name comes off the wheel. The second spin being for glory, that's who gets the actual bottle of rum, Texas Silver rum, specifically moon from your friends here at the Old Humble Distilling Company. Can we talk about vodka instead? You can talk about whatever you want in chat. This is a free speech show. Well, we can talk about the vodka on another show, but tonight's show, I'm talking about rum. But you're welcome to talk about the vodka all you want. It is a corn-based vodka, distilled 6 times. It's really yummy. Clocks in at 80 proof. It's a yummy vodka. But let's talk about this show tonight. Where are my notes? I'm trying to find my show notes because I have a list of things that I want to actually talk about. I don't want to talk about how the world is burning down around our ears right now. I'm going to try to avoid that topic. This is going to be a fun, lighthearted show. I have zero interest whatsoever in discussing him or what he's doing or whatever other stupid shit is going on. So there you go. But y'all can talk about whatever the hell y'all want in chat. I will catch up to all the comments in chat. I will read every single one of them, and I will keep the show going until I get to the last one. That is my commitment to the show. That is my commitment to the bit. That is my commitment to the happy hour. I want the conversation to go as long as y'all can keep it going. I will keep going. I'm going to go live again tomorrow with a bottling run in the middle of the afternoon. But hey, tonight it's happy hour. We used to be able to talk to strangers. We used to be able to roll up into a bar and just sit down next to somebody and say, hey, how are those local sports teams faring today? Or whatever. And we could talk to strangers and we have fun. And that is what our happy hour is all about. Being able to talk to strangers and have some fun and enjoy ourselves. And if it gets a little deep, it gets a little deep. If it gets a little heavy, it gets a little heavy. We do not ban politics or religion or philosophy of any sort in this channel. It is a free speech show. We get to have conversations over whiskey. So shall we get to it, kids? Our series of 50 states of whiskey will continue with the next show when I get a bottle from Arkansas. I have not yet gotten my bottle from Arkansas. I found the distillery, I found the bottle. I just haven't gotten it yet. So that is being set aside for another couple of weeks. Bourbon has added his name to the wheel of doom and glory, which will be spun when we hit $30 in super chats. Your BEN Bourbon. And once again, when we spin the wheel of doom and glory, we are going to be giving away a bottle of newly released Moonshine Hill rum. So grab your butts. The shit's going to get exciting. And a shout out to who's this local advertiser? Oh, Memorial Health. It looks. Shout out to Memorial Health for sponsoring the show with an ad today. Thank you, Memorial Health. I am not used to StreamYard's interface. I'm not sure that I like it. I'm not as familiar as I used to be with StreamYard's interface. I enjoyed using StreamYard back when I had guests on the show regularly. We're talking about the idea of distilling it. Yeah, I finally pulled the trigger and did it, homie. There's the Ask Me Anything. What's this? Tell us why Lisa's in jail. That's a ticker. I'm going to change this one. We're going to do order your bottles today at Old Humble Distilling.com. Scroll across, position, speed, time. Okay. Save it. Save. Is it this one? Boom. Did I change it? No, it didn't change it. So how do I change it? Hide. Edit. I'm playing around with this. Like I said, I'm not as familiar with this interface as I used to be. Top. I'm not as familiar with this interface as I used to be. So I'm still trying to learn it just a tad. Let's see here. Does that put it across the top? Yeah, that put it across the top. Cool. And now I lost the one across the bottom. Subscribe. There. That works. Can you only have one at a time? That's dumb. That is dumb as shit. All right. I'll keep this one. In fact, what I'm going to do, y'all get to see live production. Isn't it cool? Order your bottle today at Old Humble.com. All right. And exclamation points and at 30 of super chats. Bottle giveaway. Okay, there we go. That works. That's 3 things on the ticker. It'll be fine. Maybe I should put the bottle giveaway. Oh, fuck it. I don't care. I'm not messing with this shit anymore. Enough. Let's get on with the show. Fuck it. All right. Cheers to new commenters. I got to add names to the Heraclitus. Oh, hey, I remember that name. I'll talk to that guy. Where did I talk to Heraclitus? Was that on Ben's? Was it on Ben's show? Yeah, I know. He was in my fucking distillery. Of course. Heraclitus. I'm slow, but I'm not dumb. Or maybe I'm dumb, I'm not fast. I can't remember. Anyway, all right, let's talk about the history of rum. All right, so the history of rum. So rum is a relatively new spirit when it comes to spirits that we consume. We have in the general categories of spirits. Let's talk about all that. Hold on. I do one thing real quick. There. Nope. One more adjustment. That. One more adjustment. That'll do. Am I all right with that? One more. There we go. Nope. Too high. Perfect. Too low. One more. There. That's where it was when I started. All right, we're just gonna leave it there. The lighting's too good. All right, let me turn on my lava lamp too. So it's a relatively. Oh, there we go. It is a relatively new spirit on the scene. It came into the. It was popularized in the 1700s and 1600s when sugar became more abundantly available to Europe, mostly because of Caribbean colonization and, let's face it, enslavement of the natives and genocide in the Caribbean islands, and also importation of slaves from Africa. But sugar became a hot commodity, a cheap commodity. Prior to the 1700s, sugar was imported from Southeast Asia and India and brought into Europe that way. And because it was a rare, expensive good, they didn't take it and boil it and turn it into rum. They used it for sweetener and food like normal people do. But when colonization started in the Americas, sugar became super duper cheap, super duper abundant. But more importantly, the leftover bits, the waste product from sugar, they had to do something with it. And what they did with this waste product from sugar, the molasses, was some of it they bottled it up and used it for food and flavoring and coloring, but the rest of it they used for rum. They fermented it, distilled it, and turned it into a delicious liquor that was then exported out of the Caribbean to the North America, all up along the seacoast and across to England. When the American Revolution started and completed, the United States lost their access to rum, and that's when whiskey kind of took off in the United States. In the pre-revolution and during the revolution and post-revolution, pre-revolution rum was the primary liquor that was still consumed in the United States. Post-revolution, rum was replaced by liquor because we didn't have access, trading access, because of mercantile rules in England. So what is rum? Well, rum is just simply fermented cane sugars. The sugars are generally, you can use properly processed sugar, or you can use the waste product from those sugars, which is commonly known as molasses. Molasses, back in the day when it was being originally turned into rum, was a true waste product. They didn't know what to do with it. So instead of exporting molasses, which was a waste product and cheap, or just throwing it out, they fermented it and distilled it, and that is where rum comes from. The word rum is a shortened version of rumstillation, which is the process of turning molasses, and it's not just distillation. There's a specific process of turning molasses into rum called rumstillation, and rum is the shortened version of that. I thought that was weird, and I may be conflating those two words. Let me check my notes real quick, because like I do all of this from memory because I'm super awesome. Rumbullion. I am getting the word wrong. Rumbullion. Rumbullion is a word which means kill devil. Oddly enough, kill devil is what rumbullion means, and rumbullion shortened into rum. So that is the secret history of rum. What do you think about that? It's not that secret, actually. It's kind of commonly known, or it's commonly available knowledge. You can actually just go Google it and ask your AI or Google, what is the history of rum, and it'll actually give you kind of a timeline where the origins are in the 1640s and 1650s in the Caribbean area of the world, which is around the Caribbean Sea. And then it kind of grows and expands from there, thanks to our colonial masters and the imperialism of England. So cheers to England. Thanks for the colonialism, guys. I appreciate the language. This is our new label, Moonshine Hill Texas Rum. And yeah, it's a crooked label too. But this was like the first bottle that we bottled, and I did the labels wrong. This actually is not even the official label of Moonshine Hill Rum. The official label of Moonshine Hill Rum, let me pull it up, is this it? No, this one. Let me share this image for you real quick on the StreamYard deck. Come on over here. The official label is, share the image. There it is. Image file. God damn it. I can't even share the screen. All right. I'm not sure that I like. That's the reserve. That's the high octane. That's the Moonshine Hill Silver. I'm looking for the label art, please, and thank you. There it is. Moonshine Hill Texas Rum. Can you give me the thing? Boom, there it is. Bam! Moonshine Hill Texas Rum. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? I'm very proud of this label. I spent hours with Photoshop getting it just right, making the moon the right size, making the logo the right size. It was quite the labor of love. Hey, Donner Pass Whiskey's back in the house. Cheers, man. So come out if you're local to Houston. Come out on Saturday and come pick up a couple of bottles. Midstream ads. Joe's crotch cam. I'm scanning back through chat real quick. I can't put this chat on the screen because I don't have a chat overlay. They won't let me do the chat overlay. Can I? Hang on. Can I do it? Nope. I got to add. They keep wanting me to buy the business account. I'm definitely not going to get the business account. That's fucking expensive. But it's only $30 a month, so I may go ahead and do. I may go ahead and re-up my subscription to StreamYard. We also have. Let me do another image file. I also have our high octane and reserve bottles. Where's the high octane? And all the labels kind of look the same. They have different titles to them, but our Moonshine Hill series has the same art with the moon shining on a hill. There's the high octane. Yeah, that's the high octane. And here is the reserve. So the barrel reserve, our Moonshine Hill Reserve, is barrel aged rum, aged in a Boomtown bourbon barrel. And it only took, because I only had about 3 gallons of the rum, it only took me about a week to get the color and flavor that I was looking for. And boy, I tell you what, it is damn fine. Damn fine. Not even gonna lie. I mean, yeah, of course, I'm going to tell you it tastes good. But here's the thing. I was always reluctant to make rum because I was never much of a rum drinker. I always thought of rum as just what you mixed. It was a mixing drink. That you poured it in punch, and you made some kind of sugary cocktail, and that's what you made with rum. But I've come to appreciate the subtleties and differences of rums over the last month or so as I've been researching what kind of rum it is that I wanted to make. It's not a complicated process. It's far simpler, in fact, to make rum than it is to make whiskey, because whiskey involves boiling the grains and then converting the starches to sugars. Rum just starts out with sugar. So you kind of skip the whole first half of the process of converting starches to sugars because the sugars are already there. So, yeah, it's a simple process, and it goes straight from still to bottle. You really don't even have to filter it as long as you're using clean containers to catch everything in. So it's a great, I mean, it's a great product. The bottles are probably the most expensive. The bottles and labels are the most expensive part of the whole thing. I mean, I can absolutely see why it was rum was turned into a valuable commodity versus waste molasses or sugar. Um, and it's a high yield product. And I found out today that my stills got a leak in it, so I'm going to have to repair my still. I am going to do a live stream of the distillation. The whole process takes 7 days from boiling in the corn or the sugar in this case, not the corn, from boiling in the sugar to going through the fermentation process. You boil in the sugar on day 1, add the yeast on day 2, and then you wait 7 days for the fermentation to kind of stop, because there comes a point where you're not going to ferment anymore. It just, the yeast all die off. So you go 7 days for fermentation, and then on the 8th day, you do your distillation and you fire it up. So one of these days, I'm going to do a live stream where we don't do the first part, but I'll like record the first part and then do the live stream and just cut in the first part. Like, hi, welcome to the Old Humble Distilling Company, blah, 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 blah. Here's a 30-minute video of us cutting in the sugar. Because the boiling water is boring to watch too. You don't want to watch Jesus, it's 20 gallons of water. So it took us about, you had to go up from 70 degrees to 220 degrees, and it took us to go up 130 degrees. It took us 5 hours because I'm working off a fairly, well, I'm working off an internal heating element. So it took about 5 hours to get all the way up to 200 degrees boiling. 220 degrees boiling. It was 220 degrees at the bottom. It was a little bit less at the top. Welcome to thermodynamics, fluid thermodynamics, kids. Anyway, but I can cut that in where we're actually adding the water or adding the sugar to the boiling water, and then cut back to the distillation process where we're just like, where I just have a camera on the still and it's dribbling water out. Today, it took us from, I fired up the still at right about noon, right about noon. And then we started collecting liquor at about 2. And then we finished the entire process at about 6. I want to say 6. Yeah, right about 6 o'clock, because I left the shop at 6:15. We broke everything down, cleaned everything up by 6:15. So I could do a 6-hour live stream and then cut in the hour and a half or so, or hour or so of the final bit of the boil and adding in the sugar, and then go back to doing whatever it was that I was doing. But yeah, I mean, for the most part today, while I was distilling the rum, I was watching YouTube videos. I answered a shit ton of emails, did some spreadsheets, did some work, real work, but also watched a shit ton of YouTube videos. So there you go. That's the day in the life of a distiller today. So hey, hold on, we're going to talk about Moonshine Hill. I was absolutely going to talk about Moonshine Hill. But I've got to pull up my notes on Moonshine Hill, because Moonshine Hill is actually a lot more complicated than I used to just refer to it. It actually has a history. So let me pull up my little notes real quick. Just a reminder, when we hit $30 in super chats, I need to go back to my other screen so I can see where we're at. We're nowhere near it. We're not going to hit $30 in super chats. That is our Moonshine Hill rum. That is what's being released this weekend at our big label release party. I have this, our high octane. Actually, I don't need to hold up the bottle anymore. I've got the label right there on the screen. I can just click the little button. That, our high octane, and our barrel reserve, Moonshine Hill Reserve rum aged in Boomtown bourbon barrels. Delicious. Fucking delicious. I'm going to do this ASMR. AMSR? ASMR. Fucking delicious. All right. Anyway, where were we? Moonshine Hill. Moonshine Hill is the heart and soul of what makes Humble the town it is today. Humble, Texas, where I work and reside, where the Old Humble Distilling Company does all of its stuff, is a small town on the north side of Houston, Texas. We are due north of Houston. See, the reason that my hat goes down this way is because when I put my hat on, it hits my wrist right there. So it tends to go down this way. I didn't realize that. I thought I thought there was something wrong with my hat, like the way I held. But if I was left-handed, it would probably go down on the left side. But I'm not. I'm right-handed. So my hat and I don't know who David is. Anyway, I just got a text from David. Anyway, my hat kind of leans down to the right, among other things. If you know what I mean. Anyway, what was I talking about? Moonshine Hill. Humble, Texas is a little town north of Houston. It used to be a lumber town. Way back in the day, in the late 1800s, it was a lumber town. Bunch of pine forests all around the area. They cut down trees, loaded them up on trains, and sent them down into Houston. Which is why, by the way, our Moonshine Hill rum does not have a steamship theme. I thought about doing a steamship theme to our rum because all rums are steamship rums. We have Bender's Landing, and we're right on a river. We could have had a Pleasant Ferry. The founder of Humble was a dude named Pleasant Smith. Pleasant Humble Smith was his name. Old Plez is what they called him. And anyway, he had a ferry landing in where the town was set up. We didn't have any major ship commerce or river commerce in the city of Humble. Everything that we did was put on a railroad and sent down to Houston. That's how Humble lived for years. And then after the oil field strikes, it was all put into pipelines and sent down to Houston. Anyway, that's why we're not. I didn't do an aquatic theme because we're not an aquatic town, but we are a Moonshine Hill town. We are an oil town. And the reason, and Moonshine Hill and oil and Humble are inextricably linked together because Moonshine Hill was an area where oil was first struck in the Humble area. Downtown Humble proper was about 2.5 miles west of where Moonshine Hill is. And in the early 1900s, our first major oil strike was found in Moonshine Hill. And the reason why oil was found on Moonshine Hill is because underneath Moonshine Hill, geologically speaking, it is a salt dome. And because it's a salt dome, there's a elevation in the area. It's not a hill like that where it's just a little blister on the ground. It is a large elevated area over the course of several square miles because it's a salt dome. And underneath that salt dome was oil. And they struck oil. S.A. Hart was drilling unsuccessfully for several years. Houston retailer Charles Barrett took a lease in the Moonshine Hill site near what is now FM 1960, which is where my distillery is located, about a mile and a half further east from Moonshine Hill. He began drilling in 1904, and in May of 1904 discovered oil. Next, started drilling in Moonshine Hill Oil Company of Walter Sharkey, Ed Prather, and Howard Hughes. Yes, that Howard Hughes. He was actually born in the city of what would eventually become the city of Humble. Staddy and Granbury Oil Company and Higgins Oil Company, which bought a gas well in 1904. The community, they say that the community of Moonshine Hill was named for Moonshine Air Jammer Company, but Moonshine Air Jammer Company was named for Moonshine Hill, which is the hill where they found the oil. And the reason it was called Moonshine Hill is because it was a hill and no trees grew on this hill. For whatever reason, no trees grew on this hill. And the moonlight was able to shine on the hill, and the locals called it Moonshine Hill. That's why it was called Moonshine Hill. Not because they actually made moonshine in the area. because they made moonshine everywhere in this area. That's why. What else needs to be known about Moonshine Hill? It was a thriving community by 1905. There was a tent city that had grown up in the Moonshine Hill area. By March 1905, there were 31 wells producing in the field, pumping out an estimated 87,000 barrels a day. And some about 10,000 people lived in the area. For reference, currently in the city of Humble proper, which does not include the Moonshine Hill area, the population of Humble is about 15,000 people. So it was basically a bustling tent city that had saloons and brothels and boarding houses and livery stables and all kinds of other stuff that you would need if you lived in a boom town next to an oil well on the edges of the city of Humble. For several years after 1905, production got up to as much as where's my number? It got up to as much as 400,000 barrels a month, and then shortly after that, after 1905, shortly into 1906, that number was raised up to 2 million barrels a month until about 1914. In 1914, there were deeper drilling techniques, and then the production doubled. It went from 2 million barrels a month to 4 million barrels. And then there was another boom in the Moonshine Hill area, in the Humble area. And then the third boom came in 1929 because, well, it was 1929. And peak production reached about 690,000 barrels. Production declined in 1920, but then raised up again in 1929 from 200,000 to about 650,000. And then blah, blah, blah. World War II, the ship channel grew up. Humble Oil grew up. Humble Oil eventually became ExxonMobil. And, well, the rest is history. Then they bought a presidency and owned the government and all this other stuff. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about how and why the world is burning around us. You're welcome to talk about it in chat. But I'm not going to talk about how the world is burning down around us until we get into the Old Humble After Dark section of the show, which is actually coming up because we've been doing this for about 40 minutes. And that's the history of Moonshine Hill. Moonshine Hill, the namesake of our newly released rum, Moonshine Hill Texas Rum. Where's that? Oh, nope. That's the button. Come on. Close that. Open. There we go. I'm trying to show the fucking labels. It's not helping. Is that the first time I've cussed? No, it's not the first time I've cussed. Anyway, make them bigger. Make it less bigger. All right, there we go. My computer's thinking. I'm sure there's a huge lag. No, there's no lag. There. The namesake of my rum, the Moonshine Hill Rum, the Moonshine Hill High Octane Rum, and the Moonshine Hill Reserve Barrel Finished Texas Rum. Barrel finished. I put barrel finished on the. I think I'm going to go back to barrel aged Texas rum. I don't know if I like barrel finished. I'm going to get through this first bit of labels, and then I'm going to change that, I think, to barrel aged Texas rum. Moonshine Hill Barrel Reserve Bourbon Barrel Aged Rum. We'll see. All right. Anyway, let me update the name of Doom and the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Heraclitus. Let's see here. Let me go through. Let me explain how the giveaway works again. When we get $30 in super chats, I will give away this bottle of, well, not this bottle, a bottle of rum like this, a new one sealed properly. I'll give away a bottle of rum. If we get to $30, I give away a bottle of rum. everyone who participates in chat gets their name on the wheel of doom and glory. Currently, we have Donner Pass Whiskey, John Longshanks, Sunflowers, Uncle Larry, Bourbon, Heraclitus, Joe. And I think that's everybody. That's all the names that I've seen so far. If I've left you out, say something, and I will put you on the wheel of doom and glory. And what happens after we hit 30 bucks is I spin the wheel twice, 2 times, once for doom, once for glory. The doom spin takes your name off the wheel. The glory spin gets you a bottle of delicious Old Humble Distilling Company Moonshine Hill rum. So there you go. And a big complaint that I have right now about StreamYard is that I cannot take your chat and put it on my screen because I don't have the paid version of this shit. Because I didn't pay for it. I'm using the free version. So that's a complaint that I have with using the free StreamYard. And I may go back to using OBS after this. But we'll see. This was just kind of an experiment to see if I still liked using this platform. Because the reason I stopped using the StreamYard platform is because it got really laggy and really choppy, and I couldn't do it, especially when I had guests on. Well, I might bring some guests up later. That'll be fun. Because I can do that because I have a link somewhere. Somewhere there's a link. Somewhere there's a link to invite people. I'll find it. Oh, there it is. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. There's a link to invite people. So yeah, we'll open it up, bring people up here in a few minutes. As I scroll through chat, and let's read the catch up to chat. I am at 10:26. There's John Longshanks. Uncle Larry at 10:32. Sunflowers. Uncle Larry says, hello, gents. Sunflower says, vodka, send me some. Sunflowers, we'll do an episode on our Pipe Yard vodka. And I had a very subdued, low-key release of the Pipe Yard vodka about a year ago. We'll do an announcement and a re-release of the vodka in a few weeks. And right now I'm making Moonflower gin, or Flower Moon gin. I'm sorry, Flower Moon gin. It is. You know, the next thing I do, it might be an absinthe. I had this absinthe ordinaire, it's a absinthe liqueur, and it really tastes like ass, licorice ass, liquor. Yeah. It tastes like ass. I don't like, but there's got to be a way to do absinthe that doesn't taste like ass. I mean, I know it's supposed to have a licorice flavor to it. So it's wormwood and star anise. Those are the two forward flavors that you get in absinthe. That's the word I was looking for. Those are the two forward flavors you get in absinthe. And I don't think wormwood really has a flavor to it. And I did that absinthe show, and it was just, God, I drank that shit, and it was just awful. But there's got to be a way to make it so that it doesn't taste like hot garbage. It's got to be. Because, you know, it was the bougie salon drink for years in Paris. It's what killed Edgar Allan Poe when he died face down in the gutter. It was absinthe that was on his breath, and like you would even know because his mouth was in the gutter to begin with. Anyway, maybe I'll do another absinthe episode in a few months when I do my absinthe for. Well, we should do absinthe for Halloween. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, okay, back to chat. And I am not wearing my glasses. So talk about the vodka. We can talk about the vodka another day. We can talk about the vodka tonight. Like I said, I don't care what y'all talk about. This is a free speech show. There are guardrails, but Talk about whatever. We're good. Conversations over whiskey. Dude, this way? This way? Yeah. See, that makes my hat look flat, and I can have my head at kind of a canter. What was that, darling? Anyway. We can talk about James Talrico. James Talrico looks like, I'm not going to lie, dude looks like he is on his way to homeroom. That boy looks like a fucking baby. He is just a God. He looks like he looks like he's wearing his dad's suit. I love to listen to him. I love to hear him talk. He is a terrifyingly bold witness for his faith. Wait. Oh no, snap. I can't put these up on screen. All right. It is on like Donkey Kong, bitches. Now I got it. I got this. I figured it out. I'm like I said, I'm not a dumb man, but I'm not a fast man either. I'm smart, but I'm slow. I don't even like saying that. I'm just slow. But see now, okay, who is this guy? Bourbon. That's you joining the chat. Cheers. And I am the old humble guy. I am inevitable. Anyway. You're talking about the idea of distilling rum. Yeah, in fact, I think I may have had I already bought. No, I hadn't already bought the sugar, but I had already in my mind made up my mind to do it. It was just a matter of getting off my ass and doing it. And I was going to wait until I had a barrel come available, but it turns out I had some extra barrel staves laying around. So I was able to just use the barrel staves in a bucket to make the whiskey. And because it was only 3 gallons, I used the same number of barrel staves I would have had in a proper barrel. But because it was only 3 gallons, it only took me like a week to get the color and flavor that I was looking for. And it is a nice, delightful, caramel colored. You can see it on the Facebook page. I think I posted up a short of us doing the bottles. Facebook, Instagram. Find us on all the socials. We're on all the places. So go do things. Not during the show. I want to keep the engagement. Stick around. Comment more. Thank you. Have a great day. Heraclitus, the other Joe, looking forward, stopping and snagging a bottle of the new dude. If you got time tomorrow, come by. I've got samples of the barrel aged stuff, the high octane stuff, all the stuff. Come on down. You're not going to regret it. It is 100% worth the trip. Absolutely delightful. Yeah. And I'm super duper excited about it too. It's a departure of it's me expanding my horizons of what I can do and what I'm willing to market for the distillery. We are one step closer to becoming a full menu of spirits, and not just a whiskey distillery, but a full menu of spirits. So I'm going to have a menu of white liquors. I'm going to have a menu of brown liquors. In October, if we're around in October, I'm going to have our absinthe. I wanted to do the absinthe last year, but the time got away from me and I just couldn't do it. Or maybe it was the year before. Time got away from me and I just couldn't do it. But being able to just pump this stuff out, using the baby still like I'm using it, it's working out good. It's working out good. I enjoy the process of making the liquor and doing the things. I can get some work done in the morning, come in, fire up the still, go into the office, do some more work while the still's working. It's a good time. It's a good time for everybody. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Next up. So unaged rum or aging some too. Haha. That's the unaged rum. Nope. That's the high octane unaged rum. That is the Moonshine Hill unaged rum. Yep. We've already talked about it, but hey, it's a chance to talk about it a second time. It's a chance to talk about it a second time. And y'all, if you even know me a little bit, I love talking about this stuff. It is the lore and history around everything that we do is just, it's cool. It's fun. This is easily the coolest job I've ever had. Easily the coolest job I've ever had. The distillery, not the YouTube channel. I'm a distiller with a YouTube channel. I'm not a YouTuber with a distillery. And that is an important distinction to be made. Okay, what is going on here? There we go. That is a very important distinction to be made because I don't want to confuse things and have people think that I am some kind of fucking YouTuber. I am not a YouTuber. So I do all the things wrong. I don't post enough. I don't create enough videos. I've been putting off doing my next video, my pre-recorded video for 3 weeks now. The next one's going to be about blending whiskeys, blending and mixing whiskeys, and why you're doing your infinity bottle wrong. It bothers me a little bit. It really does. Why you're doing your infinity bottles wrong. I got into and oh my God, the community on TikTok is insufferable. These people are not whiskey drinkers. They're bottle collectors. Most of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they don't drink their fucking whiskey. So they go out and buy a bunch of bottles and they show their collection of bottles, and their collection of bottles is like 20 bottles deep of Eagle Rare. And like, you don't even know what you have. You've got 24 bottles of Balcones. You've got 24 bottles of Blantons. You've got 24 bottles of Garrison Brothers. You don't even know what you have. You've got these whiskeys. You don't even know what they are. You've got 5 cases of Buffalo Trace. It's Buffalo fucking Trace. Are you kidding me? That's like showing off your truck of Jack Daniels. Who gives a shit? It's just factory whiskey. You can get that stuff on literally every street corner. Are you kidding me? Anyway. Anyway, and that's what I like about when I come to visit you, Ben, and Joe, and the Whiskey Six, and all these other guys. They actually drink their whiskey. They reach back there and they pull up bottles, and they bring up a bottle, and it's like 3/4 empty because they drink this shit. And it has a name. You've never heard of the fucking name. It's like Don's Whiskey from Kalamazoo, Missouri. And you're like, who the fuck is Don? And you're like, I have no idea, but he makes great whiskey. Here, check it out. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. I love people who actually, could you imagine going over to somebody's house and them saying, I love steaks. I love steaks. Why don't you come over for dinner? And you go over to their house for dinner, and they open up the freezer and they show you a freezer full of steaks, the best cuts of steaks that you could ever find. And they say, yeah, we don't eat these. What? You don't eat those steaks? What do you eat? And they go over their fridge and they open up their, whatever Dollar Day Kroger steaks that they pulled off the shelf that morning. It's like, you don't eat the good steaks that you actually got from the grass-fed cattle that you own a half of, and you bought half the steaks off the carcass of the cow, and those are like you knew the cow, and you named the cow, and you petted the cow, and made sure the cow was happy, and you made the best damn steaks out of that cow. But we're just eating the factory steaks. That's it. And they're a collector of steaks, and that's all they do is collect steaks. But you don't eat the steaks. I don't understand people. Anyway, this tangent was brought to you by TikTok. I got in a little row with a couple of dinglings over there. That's not fair. They're not dinglings. They're nice people, probably. Their moms love them. Anyway, they were blending. They were making, taking a little bit of whiskey from this bottle, a little bit of whiskey from this bottle, and putting them together and going, oh, we made a poor man's pappy or whatever. I'm like, guys, if y'all got to mix your whiskeys, then you're not drinking great whiskeys. But I mean, if they stand up on their own, great. But if you have to mix them to make them better, you're starting off with one bad whiskey and one good whiskey, and all you're doing is making the good whiskey worse and the bad whiskey better, but you're not making anything great. Yep, that kicked off the whole flood of experts who would like to tell you exactly what they know. Like I haven't been doing this shit for 20 years. Anyway, there's a reason why distillers blend whiskeys. And it's not because it's I don't want to say it's not because we're trying to make something better, because we are trying to make a third unique product. But we're trying to make, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a third unique product. It's not necessarily better or worse. We're not trying to improve one or the other. We're trying to make a third unique product. And usually, well, this is fine. I'll give you the crib notes of the show that I'm working on recording. And see, here's the thing. I because I do all of this stuff almost in one take. I say my monologue again and again. It's like a 7-minute video. So this is like one take, 7 minutes. I'm giving you the info and we're done. So do with that what you will. But anyway, when we blend whiskeys together, we are taking a variety of whiskeys. Usually, like when it comes to scotches, we're taking like 25, 30 scotches from 30 different single malt producers, and we're blending them together. They are blending them together to make a single unique product that is more stable, more repeatable, and more neutral than any of those single malts by themselves. And generally speaking, the companies sending barrels for blended scotches aren't sending the best barrels from the distillery either. They're sending the marginal barrels that they don't want to blend into their batches and sending them over to J&B and Chivas and J&B, Chivas, and Johnny Walker in order to blend together their 40 barrels of bourbon or of scotch into a single batch. Most of the time in the United States, we don't do blends because for the longest time, all of the distilleries were within like a 60-mile radius, and most of the whiskeys tasted mostly similar. So there wouldn't really be a point of blending together the whiskeys. We achieve a blended flavor by using corn, rye, and malted barley in our mash for our bourbons. Now, something that we would do is take a corn from one part of the country, a rye from another part of the country, and a single malt from another part of the country, and blend all three of those different unique flavors together to make something special and unique that we couldn't get just by taking corn, malted barley, and rye and turning it into a bourbon. See the difference? It's 3 finished whiskeys of 3 different styles from 3 different regions, blending them together, as opposed to taking your 100 proof and your 80 proof and blending them together to make a 90 proof, your 75% corn and your 60% corn and blending them together. You're just taking everything and averaging everything out. Anyway, you're not doing what you think you're doing when you take a glass of whiskey and a glass of whiskey and pour them together and make a new glass of whiskey. And you're also not doing what you probably think you're doing when you make an infinity bottle, because your infinity bottle is already 600 milliliters and you're just adding 50, 25 milliliters to your bottle. You're not adding enough to change the flavor, but what you are doing, and this is the really cool thing, is you're creating a museum of flavor in a decanter. And you can take that decanter and share it with friends and say, in this bottle are some of my best memories. This is my son's graduation. This is my son's wedding, my daughter's wedding, my first kid. These are sips that I had on important days and important events in my life. That's what infinity bottles do. Because truthfully, when you mix whiskeys together in an infinity bottle, you're making a homogenized flavor of whiskey. So what you're doing is you're taking all of these unique flavors and kind of merging them into a single flavor. You're taking the highs and the valleys and turning them into somewhere in the middle. you're making a third different product. You're making the good stuff a little bit less good and the bad stuff a little bit better. You're making something that kind of homogenizes itself out, especially if you're blending bourbons together. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not doing what you think you're doing. But really being able to sit down with your buddies with a decanter that has your best memories, This has the whiskey in it from the day that I retired. This has the whiskey in it from the day I set a PR in the marathon. This has the whiskey in it from the day I got my MBA. This has the whiskey in it from the day that I got my divorce, or whatever it is that's an important day in your life. This is the whiskey in it from the day I first kissed a girl. I mean, let's face it, most of you guys haven't kissed a girl in years. Gotcha. Yeah, anyway. But that's what I like about Infinity. And even better, in this community, an Infinity bottle can be anything to anybody. It can be it could be the best fucking whiskey you've ever had, blended together into an even better, if it doesn't make the cut, it doesn't get into the bottle. It's only the best of the best of the best of the best, sir. Men in Black, right? Or it could be like this is a goat piss Infinity bottle. This is an Infinity bottle of the worst bottles of whiskey I have ever had. What I do is, instead of pouring them in the drain, I take a shot, put it in my Infinity bottle, and then I pour it in the drain. And it could be your own like personal inside joke. You give people that bottle, you say, yeah, this is my Infinity bottle of the best whiskeys I've ever had. And they drink it and they go, oh, this is awesome. And then you're just laughing because it's your goat piss Infinity bottle. That's a thing to do. That is absolutely a thing to do. Anyway, on with chat. I'm not entirely sure how I got off on that tangent, but I did. So there we go. Where are we at? How much of the sauce? This is my second drink all day long, and I'm almost down to the end of my ice. So I think it might be my last drink. Crotch cam. Joe's crotch cam. Let's keep going. Nice midstream ad. Yeah, I do have midstream ads. I should probably. Well, I do want to know who's advertising on my channel. So let me know when you see a midstream ad. Let me know. I'll give the advertisers a shout out. I know I'm watching the show over here on my phone as well, but I don't pay that very close attention. Look at Joe inventing words tonight that no one will use or ask for. I don't know what. Rumstillation. What was it? Rumbullion. Yeah. Devil Kill. Sunflower says hi, Ben. Cheers, Sunflowers. Donner Pass back in chat. Heracles, thanks. I designed it myself with hours of effort. It really was. It took me about 5 or 6 hours to crank my way through there. Streamlab Talk Studio. I have to check it out. I am not familiar with Streamlab Talk Studio. But I'm going to check it out. Streamlab Talk Studio. All right, I'll check it out. Unfamiliar. Cheers, Tim. Who's Tim? Oh, that's Donner. Gotcha. All right, keeping on. I'm going to probably catch up to chat real soon. Rum rhymes with dumb? Bum? Oh, check it out. I got a pirate mustache. I have the goatee. This is all gray, though. You can't see it. It doesn't show up very much in the, but yeah, I got the little, I might, maybe I shave this off for the release tomorrow or Saturday. So I just have the, I put on some black eyeliner like Captain Jack Sparrow. Should I? You think? Can I make my products low sugar or zero sugar? That is a great fucking question, Sunflowers. So let's talk about sugar and rum and the sugar content of a finished rum. For a factory sugar or for a factory rum, there should be very little sugar left in the bottle after distillation. And let me explain the process to help you understand, because I'm sure you're already going, rum's all sweet and it tastes like sugar. In a glass of whiskey or a glass of rum, you're getting less sugar than you put in your coffee. And the more important thing you have to worry about is the alcohol in the glass than the sugar in the glass. There's less sugar than alcohol in a shot of rum. And here's why. Sugar gets dissolved when you're making rum. Sugar gets dissolved into water. You heat up the water so that you can have a super solution of sugar in the water. If you just dissolve the sugar in the water, I think you can do 1 pound per 5 gallons or 6 gallons, something like that. Maybe it's 1 pound per 10. But if you heat it up to boiling, you can do 1 pound per gallon or per 1 pound per 4 gallons. Yeah, because we do 60 pounds of sugar in a 20-gallon wash. 60 pounds of sugar in a 20-gallon wash. So whatever I was saying before is wrong. You can get significantly more sugar in water dissolved when you heat up the water. And that becomes very important, because once we were done with our boil process of making the rum, we had a potential alcohol content of 15%. And our goal when we're doing our fermentation is 15 to 20%. So what that tells you is, and we hit our goal, by the way, of I think we were right at 13 or 14%. We were close enough to our goal that I was very satisfied. But what that tells you is what's left over is very small amount of that sugar. We used up 98% of the sugar that was dissolved in the water. So there was a very small amount of sugar left in that water. And the reason for that is the yeast eat the sugar and make alcohol. Okay? So if you put too much sugar in the water or not enough yeast in the water, you're leaving product on the table. You're literally throwing away sugar water that could have been turned into rum. So if you're a factory rum maker, or even a small rum maker like me now, apparently, you don't want to buy sugar you're not going to use to make alcohol. And you don't want to use sugar that's not going to be turned into alcohol. So you want that sugar to be converted. It's like if you're flying a plane from Houston to Chicago, you need 600 gallons to get from Houston to Chicago. Why would you buy 620 gallons or 650 gallons and just leave gas in the tank? Obviously for emergency purposes, but let's just assume that's all factored into the 600 gallons. You don't want to buy more than you have to, because that cuts into your profit, right? I mean, if you're making 100 sandwiches, you buy 200 pieces of bread. You don't buy 225 pieces of bread, because then you don't use 25 pieces of bread. Why would you buy the extra bread? That doesn't make any sense. So the point being, when you make rum, the goal is to convert the sugar into alcohol. And you want to have enough sugar in the wash to convert it all to alcohol and not have a bunch of leftover sugar left behind. If you have a bunch of leftover sugar left behind, you put too much sugar into your water and you didn't make enough alcohol. So if there's sugar that gets through the distillation process, and some sugar does because it's bound up with the water, and we're only distilling it to about 140 to 150 proof, which is 75% alcohol by volume. Yeah, 75% alcohol by volume, which means you're 25 to 30% of that is water, and that water is bound up with the sugar. The sugar evaporates and gets condensed with the water. So if there's sugar left behind, there's alcohol that's not being produced. So you shouldn't have a high sugar content in your rum. So let's say that there's 5% of the sugar left behind. There, we fermented it. It's 15% alcohol, 5% sugar, the rest of it's water. Or the rest of the water is 5% sugar. It's a 5% sugar solution. So 85% of the water and it's 5% sugar. So we distill it and it comes out and we get 75% alcohol, and the other 25, that 25% water is, let's say, 5% sugar. So we will then add water to it, add pure clean water to it to cut it down to 80% alcohol by volume. So from 150 proof down to 80 proof, right? So we're adding water to it. So we'll add several gallons of clean, pure water. So that 5% becomes more like 1 or 2% out of the 25, because we're adding probably about 50% water. So let's call it 2.5%. So that 2.5% gets cut into 750 milliliter bottles. So in this 750 milliliter bottle, that is 60% water. It might have 2.5% of that water is sugared. You will have less sugar in your rum than you will have in your coffee. I know that was a whole shit ton of science content and a whole shit ton of math content, but the math is on my side. The science is on my side. It may taste sweet, but part of that's mental and part of it is just the sugar and the alcohol combining together to make the flavor taste sweet. You have remarkably little. If I, as the distiller, have done my job right, you have remarkably little sugar in your rum. It'll be a little bit sweet because there's going to be a little bit of sugar left over, but it should not spike your insulin. Shouldn't. That doesn't mean it won't. It shouldn't. The bigger threat to your body systems is the actual alcohol that's in the rum. It's 40% alcohol, for crying out loud. And I mean, there's a Surgeon General warning on here telling you that it's not healthy. Don't drive cars. Don't be pregnant. It's a Class C carcinogen. We know all the health effects that come with this. This is worse for you than sugar. Do with that what you will. I guess more importantly is usually rum is poured into some kind of punch, whether it's some kind of cherry punch or pineapple or whatever shit people use to make punch drinks or rum drinks. And those are sugary sweet. So be warned about that. Did we lose the show? No. Okay, there it is. Still no super chats. I'm good with that. What's next? Bourbon. Lol. What's the yield on my rum? That is a great question, Uncle Larry. Out of my 20-gallon still, I get about 6 gallons of rum at about 120, between 120 and 140 proof. Between 5 and 6 gallons at 120 to 140 proof. That is my yield. Am I going to fix it? Fix it with flaxseed? What? Oh. I have no idea how I'm going to fix it. Probably, no, I'm not going to use flaxseed. I don't know. I do not know what you're referencing. Sorry. Next. Bubblegum. Yeah. Okay. Y'all are discussing this. The leaky. I'm just going to have to get some silicone, dismantle it and silicone it. Making moonshine on Moonshine Hill would have been too on the nose. Now, for what it's worth, there was Moonshine Hill currently the area that is Moonshine Hill is mostly, it's not abandoned, but there are maybe 50 people who live back there. It's on a floodplain, and the property can't be built on anymore. All of the properties are flagged as in the floodplain, in the flood zone. So the only people who can buy the properties, when the people who own the property sell, the only people who are allowed to buy it is the flood control district of Harris County or the city of Houston. So there is a lot of. Did Mr. Great Shot come into chat? There is Mr. Great Shot. Let me get that name on the wheel of doom and glory. Welcome to the party, Mr. Great Shot. And the rules of the wheel of doom and glory are: if we pass $30 in super chats, we spin the wheel of doom and glory. Can I share that screen using? Can I share? I can. Using the wheel of doom and glory, we spin it once. For doom, is that it? Boom. We spin it once for doom, and your name comes off the wheel. And then we spin it once for glory, and you're the one who takes home the bottle. So that is only if we get $30 in super chats. We give away this bottle, or a bottle just like this, of our Moonshine Hill rum. This one? Yeah, there it is. All right. So, but that's only if we pass $30. And if you contribute to the show, you get your name on the wheel the number of times equal to the number of dollars you contributed. So, everyone on the wheel right now, you have a risk of being hit with doom before you even get your chance of glory. Should I put everybody's name on there twice? Ooh, that would be awfully magnanimous and beautiful and wonderful of me. I'll do that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to do that because I want to incentivize people to support the channel. Because every dollar that goes to the channel comes through chats, goes back into the channel, whether it's lights or microphones or cameras, or hell, a subscription to StreamYard. So there you go. Yeah. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the area around Moonshine Hill is mostly abandoned, and the people back there now are normal 21st century, like, suburban people who have large properties and live near a river. But just about 30 years ago, 40 years ago, yeah, they all had stills. There was so much. That was the place where liquor was being made in Humble as recently as 1985. True story. True fucking story. Where are we? High octane means 100 proof. 100 proof. Read the label. It is a 100 proof rum. Where is it at? It's 375. 50% ABV means 100 proof. It is high octane. They no longer make Bacardi 151. Yeah, they no longer make Bacardi's 151. So I figured 100 proof rum would be a nice addition to the lineup. Where are we at? You watched an Ashley Furniture ad. Welcome. Thank you for supporting the channel, Ashley Furniture. Y'all are, if you want to get some fancy furniture that is slightly overpriced, go to Ashley Furniture. Ashley Furniture, a Houston institution. We'll call it that. A Houston institution. They have nice furniture there. If you're willing to spend $5,000 for a couch, it is very nice furniture. They also have those couches that recline. Your feet stick out, and they have those chairs that vibrate. Yeah, those are fun. Anyway, they will finance your couch if you want to get it financed and pay for it for 5 years. The free version of StreamYard allows you to put chat on. I figured out how to put chat on the screen, but you couldn't go back and delete that, could you? Anyway, next. I'm tired. It's been a long goddamn day. What time is it? 12 o'clock. Jesus. Go to comments tab. Already did it because I'm super smart. I'm just kind of dumb sometimes. I'm slow. I'm smart, but I'm slow. Anyway, yes, the free version allows you to put chat. Okay, we know this. What it doesn't let me do is put the chat like over here. And that's what I was trying to do. I didn't realize that's what I was trying to do, but that's what I was trying to do. You're supposed to drink absinthe with, there's this whole presentation thing where you take the high proof absinthe and the sugar cube and the spoon, and you put the cube on the spoon and you pour the absinthe over it and you light it on fire, and that's just burning off all the alcohol. And then it tastes like, I don't know what it tastes like. After you burn it off, I don't know what it tastes like. But there were also rumors that Hornwood made you hallucinate, which is untrue. But that's a whole nother fucking show. Sunflowers, how many times did you make this comment? 1, come on. 2, 3, 4. Jeez. All right. Next. He looks. Oh, Talrico. I know exactly who you're talking about when you say he looks 12. It's James Talrico. He looks like he's 12. Yeah. I don't think he shaves. Home Depot bucket. I do not use a Home Depot. Thank you very much. I use the homebrew stores buckets. Independent Joe's in the house. Cheers, Independent Joe. You get added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. But I'm going to spell independent all the way out because I don't want to think hard about it. Because I've actually been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I just realized that. That's why I'm so damn tired. I've been up all goddamn day. How do you decide which type of spirits to produce? That's a great question, Sunflowers. I talk to the people in the tasting room. I read industry trends. And a lot of it's just what I want to do, like what I think would be cool, what I think would be fun to try and do and pull off. Whiskey was my first love. So whiskey, making whiskey is what I wanted to do first. Simple, affordable, scalable. Who is this? 22. What is this? What is this advertisement? 22miles.com. Seamless mobile integration. 22miles.com. Make edits and stuff. You can request a demo. I don't know what 22miles.com is, but I am super stoked that they're advertising on my show. Shout out to 22miles.com. Cheers, guys. Thank you for your 0.2 of a penny. Maybe 0.2 of a penny. Maybe. But I promise I won't spend it all in one place. I will be responsible with those 0.2 of a penny, and I will invest them judiciously into balanced mutual funds, balanced index funds that will grow over time in proportion with the market that they are indexed to, with low fees and high yields. Cheers. Thank you. I'll probably just buy an ice cream cone. Anyway, where are we at? How do I decide what to make? That's basically like people kept asking me if I had a rye before I had my rye, and that's how I decided to make my rye. My next bourbon is going to be a high rye double barreled high proof bourbon. Long aged, double barrel long aged, so at least 2 years with a straight bourbon whiskey with extra oak staves to give it a deeper, richer flavor. I'll probably age it for 3 years. So there you go. That's my next bourbon. And that is partly because I want to make something that's a little bolder and stronger. I want to kind of dip my toe into that segment because of the marketplace. Because right now my bourbon is kind of it's I don't want to say milder bourbon. You can probably give me the right word for it. It's more subdued. It's less aggressive than some of the Kentucky bourbons and definitely than most of the Texas bourbons. It's easy to drink and approachable, and it was intended to be that way because the way I age it and the way I set the grain bill to match the way I plan to age it and the small batches in 5-gallon barrels so that everything about it would be a little bit less aggressive. But my next bourbon is going to be very aggressive. I'm going to put in all of the stuff, like spoilers and rally bars and knobby tires and a drop kit and aggressive fenders. And, I'm going to just have all of the stuff, a turbo fan and 5-speed manual transmission, and it's going to have a little nitrous kit, and it's just going to be I'm just going to fucking throw everything in it as aggressive as I can make it, because without having that Texas funk, I don't want to I want it to be aggressive but not off-putting. For lack of that's a fine balance to make. Aggressive but not off-putting. a Gavin Newsom of bourbons. but we're not talking about when the world is burning. We're not talking about that. I wanted to be more Gavin Newsom and less Ted Cruz. Although I don't think Teddy is aggressive as much as he's just off-putting. Ugh. Anyway, moist. Anyway, I will not do that anymore. Oh, God. Anyway, Ted Cruz is Canadian. Okay, next up. Let's go. Let's keep going. A trifecta. That must be the 3 labels, right? Yeah. Cheers, Brother Ben, Independent Joe. You are on the list. Congratulations. You're already there. You are already there. I could put wheel of any times. We're not. I'm just on the super chat mode. So all the Independent Joe's a YouTuber. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm a distiller with a YouTube channel. I always forget. I don't know how the algorithm works. I just make videos and have fun. Nope. Unacceptable. How far is it over here? All right. Golly. All right. I'm going to close this. All right, are we better? Are we back? All right, I think we're back. Okay. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. Joe, thoughts on spicy whiskey? Spicy whiskey? Okay. So, generally speaking, when people refer to spicy whiskey, they're referring to something with high rye content. They're not referring to whiskey that's spicy, like Tabasco spicy, hot spicy. Sometimes when they refer to hot in their whiskey profiles, all right, I'm ice out of ice. Do I go? Fuck it. We're just drinking neat. Oh, cool. We're just drinking neat. Last cocktail of the night. Last one of the night. So I got to get this chat caught up. I don't like hot whiskey that's spicy hot, like Tabasco hot. I do like whiskeys. I have developed a taste for whiskeys that are rye spicy hot. They have that peppery rye flavor. Maybe if I did this, yeah, that worked. But see, my hat, it's crooked on my head now. Anyway, does that bring me up? Okay, I don't know. I can't. All right, I can't do my screen full screen because the chat's over here on my right. All right, I got to go find the current comment. Where are we? All right, we're not too far behind. We're behind, but we're not too far behind. I mean, I'm a big fan of drink what you like. If you drink rot gut and you like rot gut, then drink rot gut. If you drink fancy whiskeys, drink fancy whiskeys. There's no such thing as whiskeys that are bad. There's just whiskeys that I don't like. So when it comes to what I think about spicy whiskeys, if you like it, fucking drink it. Cheers. That's how it goes. I mean, my personal preference is balanced whiskeys. I want whiskeys that are going to that the flavors play off of each other and no one flavor dominates any other flavor in the wash. So which is why my next bourbon is going to be such a departure of what I normally make, because my next bourbon is going to be counterbalanced into the heavier flavors. I'm going to have heavier rye, but I'm also going to have a heavier barrel to counterbalance it. It's almost going to be more rye than bourbon because of the way I'm going to construct it with the heavy rye and the moderate barley and the light corn, but also heavy oak. So the heavy oak and the high rye are going to probably overpower the sweetness of the corn, and we're not going to get a lot of corn expression out of it. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen myself. I don't know. I expect it's going to have a bold flavor to it, spicy, if you will. But I don't expect it's going to be. Well, I'm not gonna sell it if it's off-putting. But I'm fat enough I should be off-putting. Oh yeah, baby. Anyway, next. Oh, let's keep going. If I do StreamYard, I could probably bring Lisa back a few times. If she's willing and she's got time. Rum trends in 2026 are heavily focused on premiumization, with consumers, particularly Gen Z, seeking high quality aged and craft rums. Yeah, see, the thing about it is that there's not really such a thing as a craft rum, because rum is just sugar, water, and distillation. It's like a craft vodka. There's not really any such thing. In at least the way I define craft, the way I look at craft is a function of the person who makes it, the location where it comes from. It's unique to its space. Where basically you can take rum and make the same rum pretty much anywhere in the world because it's sugar water distillation. It's not there's no aging process for basic rum. Now, when you get into the barrel aged rums and spiced rums, now you're getting into the craft world. But this rum, it's small batch, but it's far from craft rum. At least what I would consider craft rum. Now, my barrels are unique to me. My barrel aged reserve rum is unique to the Old Humble Distilling Company. It's unique to my space. It's unique to my climate. It's unique to the whiskey that was aged in the barrel before the rum got to it. Everything about it's unique. So my barrel aged rum is absolutely craft rum. High quality aged craft rums. That is aged is the operative adjective there. And yeah, Gen Z is looking for stuff that is more of an experience and less of a commodity, less of a product and more of an experience. That's what Gen Z goes after. They were saying that about Gen X when we were buying cars for the first time, that we were more about the experience. They've been saying that shit about people for 50 years. They're more about the experience and less about the product. They want to know that they're getting something that is part of who they are, their lifestyle, and is a part of the image of who they want to be. That is literally what they told us when we were selling cars in 1998. Nothing new under the sun. Gen Z is Gen Y is Gen X. Anyway, Mark Schiffer to sophisticated dark and golden rums, along with innovative spice and flavored variants. That is true. And I will be playing around with some spices for for the batch rum that I'm making right now. Some of it's going to be high octane, some of it's going to be silver, but the rest of it's going to be some kind of spiced rum. That's your booze news of the evening. Thank you, Sunflower, for updating us all. I do appreciate it. And a GenSpark AI. Thank you, GenSpark AI, for advertising at the Old Humble Distilling Company's happy hour. You are truly a valued advertising partner, and I would encourage everyone to go get a GenSpark AI ad or GenSpark AI and satisfy your thirst for GenSpark AI. You working out, going for a run, you need just a little pick me up in the afternoon. Well, GenSpark AI has that pick me up for you. Low sugar, high caffeine. GenSpark AI is everything you need as a growing professional. Get some today at your finer convenience stores near your office. Well, actually, since it's AI, it's probably not an energy drink, is it? Well, fuck it. Thanks for supporting the show anyway. Appreciate it. If anybody out there from GenSpark AI is watching, I can be your spokesperson. I can do your commercials for you, man. Absolutely. Next. Anyone else wonder if Joe knows he's talking to chat from I know exactly. It's I have a timestamp. It's 11:42. And it's not an hour, it's 30 minutes. Thank you very much. He's I'm an hour behind. Arguably in Texas, we're about 40 years behind, and we're working on going farther. Thank you very much. Talking to chat from 2 hours ago. It's only 30 minutes. Is it 30 minutes? It is, right? Yeah, it's 12:15. And that's the best part about these happy hours is I get behind in chat and I just catch up to it, and y'all give me all kinds of fun stuff to talk about. Y'all carry on conversations amongst yourself. It's happy hour, for crying out loud. Have a fucking drink, relax, light up a cigar. There's no smoking rules in this house. Well, I'm not allowed to have a cigar, but y'all can. You have my permission. My wife tells me I'm not allowed. I do like the pirate mustache, though. I do like. Thank you, Uncle Larry. Appreciate it. I'm having fun doing it. I wanted to do it last night, but I was so exhausted. I almost didn't do it again tonight. But I want to talk about my rum. We're doing a rum release, man. I'm releasing rum tomorrow. Our first new label since we did the first and our first non-release, our first non-whiskey release since we did our vodka. So yeah, flaxseed Flex Seal. Okay, I know what Flex Seal is. I don't know what. I also know what flaxseed is, but Moonshine Valley. Moonshine Valley would be the opposite of Moonshine Hill, but how would the moonshine in the valley? Is Moonshine Valley a place? Well, whatever. Worldwide Digest says, say goodbye to hair transplant. All right. Thanks for advertising on my fucking show, hair transplant people. I don't want a hair transplant. I'm happy losing my hair, being bald, and being a fucking grown up. It's super duper low maintenance. I do sometimes, as a young man, I thoroughly enjoyed the wind in my hair when I rode my motorcycle. But hey, I'm gonna ask, man, I look good. I look good with a beard and no hair. I'm fucking gorgeous. Anyway, where were we? The next bourbon sounds like a winner, dude. You need to. You will want to. Y'all, all you whiskey tubers, whiskey tube guys are welcome in my shop. Whiskey talk guys are probably going to get mocked when they come in because they're just. I know they're just buying the whiskey in order to put it on their shelf and stare at it. Yeah, whiskey tube. I like whiskey tube. Y'all are always welcome in my shop. Always welcome in my shop. And the fun thing about the whiskey tube guys, even when I come on the shows, and you know, when I come on the shows and they're not talking about whiskey and they're talking about whatever fucking nonsense, they don't have a problem when I push back against silly conspiracy theories or alien nonsense or whatever. You know, I don't buy into any of that bullshit. I push back against that crap all the time. I have no problem pushing back against it, but they don't mind having the conversation. They have fun with the conversation, and I'm down for that. I want to have fun with it. I get that it's fun to talk about, you know, that whatever that asteroid was that came from outside the solar system, Alpha 1 Prime or whatever it was. You know, all the dumb misinformation. It was just a fucking asteroid that came from outside the solar system, screamed through the solar system, and then left. That was it. It wasn't an alien spaceship or anything like that. But, you know, you see people talking about it, and you're like, look, all of this is nonsense. But it's fun to talk about it. So, okay, let's talk about your nonsense. It does cross a line when they stop believing that it's nonsense and start acting like it's true. But I don't cross that line. I am not a peddler of nonsense, and I do not believe that it's healthy to spread silly, nonsensical conspiracy theories. So that is one thing you will not ever catch me doing. I will talk about them, but I will not validate them by suggesting even remotely that they're true. I will tell you straight up, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in Sasquatch. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe almost every conspiracy theory you can throw at me is almost all bullshit. There are a small handful, a very small handful, that I will lend any form of credence to, because there are some that have a potential of being reasonable. They're not outlandishly impossible. But we landed on the moon. The earth is round. Birds are real. Kennedy was shot by probably Oswald. I'm going to say almost certainly shot by Oswald. 99% certainly shot by Oswald. And if he wasn't shot by Oswald, we have no way of turning up that information anymore. So, yeah, that's still one that I'm like, I find it hard to believe without any critical, like, there's so many narratives that say, but here's the thing. Any evidence that suggests otherwise has been lost to history. And the narratives that, like the narratives aren't firsthand narratives anymore. There's the official story, and then there's the unofficial stories, and all the unofficial stories are just stories. So anyway, Kennedy is one that I still give a little bit of credence to, but not a lot. Very little. Very little. I give enough credence to the point where it's like where it's like the firsthand ghost stories when the guy's like, yeah, I saw my aunt walking through the house and she's been dead for 15 years, but it was definitely my aunt. She was in the kitchen making cookies. And I went in and said, what are you doing? And she disappeared. Yeah. Like the firsthand accounts like that, not the movie version of that when they're like, oh yeah, you saw a movie. Like, no, you're making a movie. You're telling a story. That's bullshit. And that's most of the Kennedy accounts are people making movies and selling books. They've conflated and connected dots that didn't need to be connected. They've conflated stories. They've done all kinds of bullshit. So no, I don't think that there was some vast conspiracy to kill Kennedy. But I also don't think the official story was 100% correct. I think they did their best and they got a mostly accurate story, but there's something else going on. I don't think there was a second shooter. I think there were a bunch of people that wanted him dead. There was just one guy who got to him first. That's probably how it worked. The Martin Luther King assassination, that's a lot of fishiness. There's some stories there, a lot of fishiness around that one. But billionaires aren't putting tracking chips in your vaccines. They're not that metal strip in your dollar isn't so that they can track how much money you have on you as you go through the airport. Like, none of that. The Illuminati's not real. You're being paranoid. So chill out. Nobody gives a shit what you're doing on a daily basis. You're not that interesting. Next. What was I talking about? How did your bourbon sounds like a winner? Oh, because everybody's welcome in the shop. Yeah. So yeah, you're welcome to come down and have some. When it gets released, I will let everybody know. Everyone's welcome in the shop. We have big tables and deep cups. The Argentic web starts with you. Webflow.com. This is the same fucking company. This is the same fucking ad as the last company, but it's a different name. It's a company with a different name. That's wild. Next. It's 2 proof down. It's quite nice. Oh, the Boomtown Bourbon. Right. Well, you say it's 2 proof down. It's 90 proof. But that's fine. Your personal preference is that it's a higher proof, and I'm fine with that. You're wrong, but I'm fine with that. There's a reason it's 90 proof. Like, you liked it out of the barrel too. So, and for what it's worth, it was a really good idea to keep one barrel in the tasting room to serve up barrel strength cocktails and shots. If there's no curb feelers, we don't want it. Huh? What is that in reference to? Joe may read it in 3 hours. Ha! Caught up to it. And it is only 20 minutes? 20 minutes. See, here's the other thing. I get off on these tangents and I start talking about shit. Like, I just spent 10 minutes talking about fucking conspiracy. I was getting close to caught up, but I started talking about some nonsensical bullshit with Kennedy. And anyway, There is no room. There is not enough space in my tasting room to talk about how 9/11 was an inside job. That is not a conversation to be had. I don't debate nonsense. We don't discuss nonsense. Well, we discuss nonsense all the time. Like, what if God is a fifth dimensional time traveler and he's already dead? Like, we wouldn't know, right? Because he is everywhere at all times because he's a fifth dimensional time traveler. This is a conversation for another night. We'll pick this up again in a couple of episodes. But think about that. Just give it some thought. And also, Back to the Future 3 didn't have to be made. Back to the Future 3 could have been a 15-minute short of Marty showing up, of the Western Union guy showing up in 1955, and then another Western Union guy showing up right behind him, and then another Western Union guy showing up right behind him, and then another Western Union guy showing up right behind him, and then another Western Union guy showing up right behind him. And then they finally read that last letter, and the letter says, "Don't forget to bring spare parts, extra gas." And then Marty finally goes back in time and he shows up in 1855 or 1886, which I think it was 1886. And he gets there, and outside of Doc's barn is a graveyard full of dead Martys and a parking lot full of DeLoreans of various bustedness because they all got busted in one way or another. But, Marty remembered to bring gas this time. So this time, instead of getting shot in the forehead and another Western Union guy sent to 1955, he was able to scavenge the parts off the car because Marty brought a toolkit, spare parts, and gasoline. He needed gasoline. Toolkit, spare parts, and gasoline. He was able to use that toolkit, scavenge parts, fix the DeLorean, and zip into the future. That's all he needed to do was kill about a dozen and a half Martys. And it's not to say that it would be the first time he killed Martys. It might be the first time he killed them with his own hands. But for a fact, you have to know for a fact that on the ground, on the fucking sidewalk next to Biff's casino in 1986, in the alternate timeline, there was a pile of dead Martys down there because Marty stepped off the roof of that building onto the hood of the DeLorean. And that was not Doc's first time getting there. Doc found out that Marty was on this roof of that building probably after the fourth or fifth time Marty fell to his death, just so that Doc could show up on time. Can you imagine showing up and then Marty's fallen to his death and Doc going, "Damn it, I need to get here 5 minutes earlier." Again and again and again and again and again until he gets the timing right. Marty got hit by Biff in his car probably 3 or 4 times before Doc got the timing right to drop the cord down, the little flag rope, so that Marty could grab it and get zipped up outside out of the end of the tunnel before Biff runs him over. Marty died at least 15 times in Back to the Future 2. We just didn't see it on camera. And Back to the Future 3 didn't even have to be made. Because by Back to the Future 3, Doc knows I can just kill Marty. And he'll come back in time. If he can send a letter into the future for Marty to get and go back into the past, then he can do it again and again and again and again until Marty gets it right. I'm saying made. Could have been a 15-minute short. Anyway, where were we? 12:25. 11:58. We are 27 by chat. Jesus Christ. All right, let's keep going. Chug along, baby. Chug-a-lug-a-lugga. Aggressive but not off-putting. A great way to describe Ben. Nice. What is this? Nice lightning storm about a mile away while it's raining. It is. It's not raining here. It is boring here. Cheers, Tim. Something Kilcoman. Having Kilcoman Stannig. Oh, that sounds like a scotch. Yum. Yummy, yummy. Yes, Moonshine Hill is in a floodplain. Moonshine Hill is the area. The hill part is a very small portion of the whole area. Like if you look up Moonshine Hill on the map of Humble, the San Jacinto River is on the north part of Moonshine Hill, and then it slopes up from the river to where Moonshine Hill is, and then it goes back down to 1960. So Moonshine Hill is a rise that it goes up from the river, and we're talking elevation of maybe 40 feet from the banks of the river to the top of the hill back down to 1960. Maybe 40 feet. It is not enchanted rock. It is at best the slope that goes up your driveway. We've heard you push back. Yeah. Everybody's heard it. Will you lend any Clearwater? Will you lend any Creedence Clearwater Revival? That is that's my that's the soundtrack of my tasting room. Always Creedence on the jukebox. Have you poured anything good yet? Everyone forgets the most science fiction part of that movie is a DeLorean at the speed of 88 miles an hour. That is so true. An underpowered 4-cylinder motor in a stainless steel car. There's a DeLorean Motor Corp facility not a mile and a half, 2 miles from my house, not 2 miles from my house. And yes, they do have the Back to the Future mods. So a peated scotch. Yep. And Larry, a few MGP tonight. Yep. And there we go. And I am caught up to the end of chat. Suck it, bitches. I'm there. 80s Volvo 4-cylinder motor and a 5,000-pound stainless steel car. Yep, that's how it goes. That's what it is. All right. Invite guests to the studio. Copy. I'm going to give y'all. It's 12:30. I've officially been doing this for 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 18 seconds. 20 seconds now. The computer tells me there's 4 people watching. Me and 4 others, or 3 others. 2 others. We're gonna wrap it up. I think I'm gonna hit the sack. I think it's time to wrap it up. I think we've said everything we're gonna say. The super chat, we fell short of our $30 super chat. No Wheel of Doom and Glory tonight, but that's okay. I was able to introduce my delicious friends, our Moonshine Hill rum, our high octane rum, and our finished rum. Come on, show it. Everything's running slow again. Let me close that window. And there it is. We're not going to share the Wheel of Doom and Glory. I want a big thanks to Uncle Larry, Ben, Donner Pass Whiskey. We've got Mr. Great Shot who joined the party. Sunflowers. In fact, Donner Pass was, I think, the first ones to comment. The first ones to join the party was Donner Pass. Heracles, Joe. I already said Mr. Great Shot. Independent Joe. We had 3 Joes on the show tonight. So that's something. Oh, the Joe trifecta. That's what that comment meant. I get it. Like I said, I'm smart, but I'm slow. I'll get there eventually. Fuck off. Shut all the way up. It's been a fun night. My son had a concert. That was the delay. My son had a concert, so I went to watch the kids at the high school play music. It was worth it. What are these widgets? What do those do? There's a poll, a QR code. Oh, I know about those. I've done the QR code before. What else is over here? What's that? Notes? Studio chat. That's just specifically inside the studio. There's people. Who's this? Oh, there's people on the show. That's me. I don't know. StreamYard seems fine, but I think OBS is probably better. As far as like what I do as my style of show and how I do things. You need a link to the hat. That is a great question. Let me see if my boy John Longshanks can give me a link to this hat. It's known as an Australian folding hat. There's so I have two. I have this one that has the mesh lining or the mesh outer, and I have this one. This is my Minnetonka folding hat. It is a straight up leather. So my Minnetonka folding hat. And then this one, you can tell it's got the mesh. So it breathes a little bit better. But this one is what's known as an Australian folding hat. And the company is Bomb. Starts with a B. See if I can find it. Barmah, Barmah. This is the company. Let's take this link. John, post that link, please. He'll get to it. But that's this one. This one is Minnetonka. This is from Wisconsin. This is Barmah. I don't know where Barmah comes from. It was given me by my buddy Jeff with a G, who will be performing at the Old Humble Distilling Company in just about 2 weeks. 2 weeks starting 2 weeks Saturday. So he'll be here in 2 weeks. Thank you, John. So yeah. So Barmah, Barmah, that's this hat. But the Minnetonka folding hat, that was the first. And this is the best part. Look at these hats. You can take them, you can fold them up, and then they come right back out. So this hat has gone on about 10,000 or so miles of travels with me. This hat has done something like 200 episodes of the Old Humble Happy Hour. And then I've got this one that I picked up at a Renaissance festival. This is more of a high hat, a merchant's hat. It's not really, I don't like this one so much. It's too high and the brim is too small. It's more of a, I don't know. This is more of an effete dandy's hat than this one. This is more of a, keeps the sun off my neck. You know what I mean? Anyway. That's it. That's it. So there's your link to the hat. Thank you, John. There's your link to the hat, and there. I don't know why. I can't post it because when I pull it up on my screen over here, everything freezes. So where's my cursor? Let me close that window. Next time, and that is time out for the fan funding. The show is officially time to wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, I am, have been, and will continue to be the old humble guy. You are you, and that's not nothing. So celebrate that. That's pretty fucking impressive all on its own. And remember, drink better whiskey, craft whiskey if you can find it, because life is too short for factory whiskey. Cheers and good night.